everybody, and welcome back. Sort of, in a hybrid sort of way. Here we are on the afternoon of August 3rd, 2021. We'll call this meeting to order. And today we have an invocation from someone who I think is familiar to many of us who've been around here in City Hall. That is Abe Andrade of the Santa Clara County Fairgrounds. Councilmember Esparza will tell us more.
We have some special guests for the invocation, and do they come up, Mayor? Should they? How are we doing invocations?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
So we have Abe Andrade, Executive Director of the Santa Clara County Fairgrounds. We have Celine Duarte, the Fair Manager, and 4-H members Ashley Jordan, Maddie Beckwith, Haley Van Wagenen, hopefully I got that right, from the FFA, and Austin Van de Covering from the FFA. 80 years ago, in 1941, the very first county fair was held in the newly opened Santa Clara County Fairgrounds. Later that year, the United States would enter World War II, and the county fair would not be held again until after the war. As we mark 80 years since that very first fair, we find ourselves recovering from another challenging period for our community, our nation, and the world. And our county fairgrounds have served an integral role in that recovery, serving first as a COVID testing site and then as a major vaccination site for our community. And although there will not be a full traditional fair this year, the fair will be hosting its livestock auctions in person this week. And we know that as we continue our recovery, we will have a lot of new events and activities to look forward to at the fairgrounds. Earlier this year, the county voted to enable the fairgrounds to sign up to 20-year lease agreements. And this will enable the fairgrounds to bring in a lot of exciting organizations and activities. So I am really looking forward to these new opportunities and seeing what develops. And so for today's invocation, thank you to Abe, Celine, Ashley, Maddie, Haley, and Austin.
Thank you, Councilmember Esparza, for the invitation to be here, and good afternoon to our mayor and all of our council members. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to the current activities that are happening at the fairgrounds this week, which include a junior livestock fair. And as a result of the continued need for testing and vaccinations for the COVID-19, we have made special plans to continue with a modified fair to give our students, our kids, the opportunities to still participate in their livestock activities. And with that, I'm going to introduce Celine Duarte, our fair manager for the 2021 fair.
Hi everyone, as Abe said, my name is Celine Duarte. I'm the fair manager of the Santa Clara County Fair. This year we are having all of our junior livestock there. So for the last few days we have had some small animals. Starting tomorrow, all of our large animals will be there. So that will be pigs, sheep, goats, cattle. And we also have an exhibit about our heritage. So there is a bunch of items that you can go see from when the fair opened in the 40s through now. We also have some exhibits where youth have made their competitive exhibits, so like photography, baked foods, those kinds of things. So we're open daily for you to come and see those items. The shows start typically around 10 a.m. and will run for most of the day. We also will have our junior livestock auction this Saturday starting at 10 a.m. So if you're interested in purchasing an animal, feel free to come. You can also find out more information about the auction and how to become an auction buyer at thefair.org. And with that, I'll introduce some of these youth so they can tell you a little bit about their organizations and what the fair means to them. So go ahead.
Hello, my name is Austin Van de Covering. I'm the Santa Clara Section FFA reporter. And the FFA motto is learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, and living to serve. And this motto is put into action a lot through our SAE projects, which is our supervised agricultural experiences. And this is basically a program where students who are enrolled in ag classes and in FFA do some kind of project relating to agriculture. And for my SAE project, my freshman year, I decided to raise a sheep who I named Lyle, and I brought him to the Santa Clara County Fair, and it was one of the most memorable and unique experiences in my life. And I got to learn a lot about time management and responsibility and, of course, animal raising. There's feeding and cleaning and showing, which I had never known anything about before. And it's an opportunity that I would have never been able to have had without the FFA and the Santa Clara Fairgrounds.
Hello, everyone. My name is Haley. I'm serving as the Santa Clara Sectional President for FFA. And I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the significance of FFA in my life. It's allowed me to step outside of my comfort zone in a way that I would have never imagined before. I used to be super anxious going up in front of the class to do presentations, and now here I am. I've been able to serve as the president last year as well, and other officer positions that allowed me to meet so many amazing people and make so many new friends. I've participated in public speaking and career development events that allowed me to further step outside my comfort zone, learn new things about agriculture and the FFA program, and it's just been such an impactful thing in my life that I would not have been the person I am today without it. Thank you, guys.
Hello, everyone. Hi, everyone. My name is Maddie Beckwith. I am 17 years old, and I am a recent graduate of Evergreen Valley High School. And I have been raising and exhibiting livestock at the Santa Clara County Fair through my 4-H club since I was 5 years old. Through these many years I've been in 4-H, I've learned so many life skills that will help me in my future, including time management, money management, responsibility, and public communication skills.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Jordan. I'm 18 years old and I'm currently a freshman at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I have been in 4-H since I was 5 as well, and I have been to every fair since I was born. The fair and 4-H in general have basically made me the person I am today and have allowed me to grow in several areas. The fair itself has allowed me to meet some of my best friends and network and create memories and friends that will last a lifetime and help me build my future. But together we'd like to share with you the 4-H pledge. As a loyal 4-H member, I pledge my head to clear thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, and my health for the better living of my club, my community, my country, and my world. And we'd also just like to say that we all appreciate the fair very much, and we'd like to see your continued support for the organization and the fair itself so we can continue agriculture in Silicon Valley. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Well said. Thank you all. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the work you're doing. All right. With that, let's stand, if you're able, for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have 2 ceremonial items on today, and I believe for one of them we may have the participants on Zoom, so we may do that from the dais. But first, we'll start with Councilmember Foley. I have to look on both sides of the dais. We're all scrambled today on different. Councilmember Foley, I believe we have members of the community here for World Lung Day. Is that right? Lung Cancer Day. Excuse me. Forgive me. Let's go ahead and go into the well then.
Here, or you want to I'll follow your lead.
If they're present, let's come on down.
They're in Zoom.
Oh, they're on Zoom. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do this from the dais then. Excellent.
Okay, very good. This is all new for all of us.
Yeah, sure.
Good to see you all. Thank you, Mayor. World Lung Cancer Day is supported by members of the international lung health community. The day has been observed on August 1st since 2012. Today, it is my distinct honor to proclaim August 1st, 2021 as World Lung Cancer Day. The day provides an opportunity to raise awareness about lung cancer's causes, risk factors, and prevalence by providing relevant statistics and a platform for those affected by lung cancer to share their stories. Lung cancer is the fourth leading cause of death in Santa Clara County. It largely impacts our city's minority communities and has a death rate of 26.4 deaths per 100,000 people. Marginalized demographics like our children, communities of color, and the LGBTQ plus communities have all been targeted by big tobacco over the years. The way big tobacco has preyed on various groups has produced devastating consequences for the health of our society. It's important for all of us to help illustrate the correlation between the early use of tobacco products, including flavored tobacco products, and the probability of developing lung cancer later in life. Nearly 90% of smokers start by age 18. That's an alarming statistic. If you think flavored tobacco products sound highly addictive, you're absolutely right. They're designed that way. Billion-dollar campaigns are laser-focused on specific demographics, which, as we have seen from history, can include our children, people of color, teenagers, and women. Today, let's remember those impacted by lung cancer and work to prevent all our residents, especially our children, from becoming addicted to tobacco products like cigarettes or Juul. With that, I would like to introduce Erica Costa from the American Lung Association to share a few words. And I believe we have her virtually.
I clicked
Hello,
without
can
the box. Got it.
There we go.
Go ahead.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Councilmember Foley and council members, for recognizing lung cancer awareness and for the opportunity to speak today on this critical topic. Lung cancer is the #1 cancer killer of both men and women in the United States. Well, over the last decade, there have been many developments around new treatments for lung cancer. Many cases are not diagnosed early when the disease is most treatable. For example, only 18% of lung cancer cases among women are diagnosed at this time. The chances of lung cancer being an issue for youth is also increasing with the e-cigarette epidemic. The National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine found substantial evidence that if a teen uses an e-cigarette, they are at an increased risk of using traditional cigarettes, which we know can cause lung cancer. In addition to the risk of using traditional cigarettes, using e-cigarettes also poses great risk in terms of secondhand smoke. A study published by the Journal of the American Medical Association found that 81% of youth who have ever used tobacco products initiated with a flavored product. Overall, more than 250,000 Americans will be diagnosed with lung cancer this year. The numbers are even higher for people of color and underserved communities, as well as the LGBTQ plus community, who oftentimes have less access to health care, health information, and early screenings. Together, we can increase awareness around lung health and lung cancer and pass policies to help this issue. For these reasons, we really applaud your recognition of lung cancer awareness so that we can put an end to lung disease. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Erica. And I do have a commendation. I don't know if you can see this, you maybe can't, that we will present to you at a later time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And we've seen it. It's real. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much. With that, let's take up the second ceremonial. Councilmember Arenas is making her way down to the microphone, and we want to welcome those who would like to join us for the proclamation of Breastfeeding Awareness Month.
And with all of you to really celebrate breastfeeding awareness. You can come right next to me. I promise I don't bite. And this is the 11th year that August has been celebrating, that we've been celebrating Breastfeeding Awareness Month in August. And we really want to normalize breastfeeding in the workplace, in our communities, and in our everyday lives. And part of that is really just creating some awareness. And so part of that is I'm going to be a little personal and share some of my experience. And I had a beautiful experience with my daughter in breastfeeding. Everything just seemed so natural. I didn't have to work at it. But my son was born at 29 weeks, and he was only 3 pounds, so he spent months in the hospital. And of course, breastfeeding was impossible. And so the hospital referred me to nursing mothers of Bay Area. Good gosh, I got that all jumbled. And currently, they provide even online classes, support groups. They offer breast pump rental stations. They provide counselors by phone or by email. And when you really need it, there's somebody that can come home and have a visit with you. And did I mention that this is all free? They've been doing this in 1955, and I'm one person, like many other women in the Bay Area, who are just absolutely grateful for this. There's so much to breastfeeding aside just from the obvious nutritional value of it. There's a reciprocal benefit. And for mothers, there's a reduced risk of ovarian, breast cancer. You know, we just talked about breast cancer awareness. There is hypertension and cardiovascular disease. And for children, of course, it's creating that stronger immune system, fewer colds and respiratory illnesses, which we want less and less sick kiddos, and lower rates of infant mortality. But most importantly, I really want to focus on that bond between that parent and the child, which is a physical and nurturing bond that initiates a wonderful relationship between parents. And that's why through my Family Friendly initiative, and the rest of my colleagues approved this a couple of years ago through priority setting, and this is breastfeeding pods that are going to happen. They're going to open up. I don't know if I shared this with you, but in January, you can look forward to, our community members can look forward to using a breastfeeding pod, which provides some privacy and the ability not to have to go to your car if you really opt for that privacy and not do your breastfeeding within the library, their community centers. And so there's 9 of them: King, Tully, Hillview, Evergreen, Alum Rock, Educational Park, and the community centers are Seven Trees, Roosevelt, and Mayfair, and they were all decided based on the high usage between children and parents. And so this year's theme is every step of the way, and I know that our city is committing to supporting mothers and children at every step of the journey. And so I'm really just honored to recognize the leader and executive board chair for Nursing Mothers Council, who is Lori McBride, and who has been doing this every day in and out and supporting our families. So thank you so much. And our mayor has a wonderful commendation for you.
Wow, thank you so much for your advocacy and your lovely presentation about breastfeeding and what it meant to you. I'm Lori McBride. I'm a volunteer. I'm an executive board chair for Nursing Mothers Council. And I would like to thank Councilmember Arenas and Mayor Liccardo and the San Jose City Council members for honoring Nursing Mothers Council with this proclamation in recognition of World Breastfeeding Week and National Breastfeeding Month, which began yesterday. Nursing Mothers Council is a nonprofit organization that was founded in October of 1955, 1 year before La Leche League was founded. And it began with 4 women in Palo Alto who were breastfeeding at a time when formula was the norm, and they wanted to help other moms in the community be successful and encourage them with the breastfeeding. The first weeks of breastfeeding can pose many, many challenges, and without support, there is little likelihood of success, especially in a situation like yours with a premature baby. But most moms do experience challenges, and we all need all the support we can get. So, Nursing Mothers Council continues with the mission of the founders from 65 years ago. We are all volunteers who are highly trained. We breastfeed our own babies. We go through extensive training, and we're here to provide that encouragement and support that families need. We started doing this pretty much in Palo Alto, but then expanded to the whole Bay Area. So Santa Clara County is one of the main counties we serve. And we also have Santa Cruz chapter. So we have the San Francisco Bay Area chapter and the Santa Cruz chapter, which serves the Santa Cruz to Monterey community. So I've been a volunteer. I was thinking about this last night talking to my husband. I've been doing it for 34 years, and I realized that's half my life that I've been doing this, which is pretty amazing. We have members who have counseled for more than 40 years, so we have longtime members who are still dedicated to supporting new families. Shows you how passionate we are about being there for our communities. Back in 1955, the counseling was mainly done by phone or in-person home visits, and we continue to do this, but we've added email, text, virtual home visits, a website, social media, and breastfeeding support group. We have grant pumps available for rental to families who can't afford them. We have 2 chapters, like I said, the San Francisco Bay Area chapter and Santa Cruz. Last year, our 70 volunteer counselors helped 250 families. Our warm line counselors answer phone calls 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., with 70% of the calls happening evenings and weekends and holidays when lactation centers are closed. We provided 59 free home visits. We have provided support to families in other states and even internationally. Thank you so much for recognizing the important services Nursing Mothers Council has provided for 65 years and for the advocacy for breastfeeding. We are honored to receive this proclamation. Thank you so much.
All right, on orders of the day, does anyone on the council have any changes to the printed agenda? I believe there is one change to 10.2, the conforming rezoning and site development permit for property located at Story in South Jackson. That will be deferred to the August 17th agenda. I think that was the vote at Rules Committee, but it's not reflected on the agenda, so we just want to clarify that. Any other changes? Okay, if not, then I don't think we need a motion, do we? We don't. Okay, we'll move forward then. On to the closed session report. Nora?
Good afternoon, Mayor. We do not have a report out of closed session for today. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Nora. All right, we're on now to the consent calendar. Are there any items that council would like to pull from consent?
Press my button. I don't know if you want to.
Oops. Yeah, I think we're all trying to. Here we go. Councilmember Perales, thank you.
Yeah, 2.2.
Thank you, Councilmember 2.2. Any other items? Okay, I'm actually trying to pull up Zoom now, but why don't I defer to Tony for any speakers on consent?
I have two speakers. The first one's caller 5140.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I mean, so much going on in San Jose. You guys are doing awesome out there. I'm glad you had a great vacation. And all we have to hear about is smoking. Yeah, that's like the #1 problem we have here in San Jose. Smoking. Hey, you guys get any tax money from those cigarettes? Maybe you should give it back because smoking is bad. There's one thing I can get behind is the breastfeeding. That's important for kids. Let me tell you, that's the only decent thing I've ever heard this crappy city council ever talk about. Welcome back, everybody. I'm back too.
The next speaker is Blair Beekman.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Hello, after a month's summer break. I'll probably show up for the public meetings sometime in September. To speak to Ordinance Items 2.1, I was very much hoping, I very much hope the rezoning of roads along the San Jose Flea Market area can be with the intention to eventually slow the traffic along Berryessa Road, as this can create a safer living and working area that can allow for better decision-making and choices for any future housing, office buildings, and vendor space for the SJ Flea Market area. Don't forget that the vendors union should have an important part in the future development of the SJ Flea Market area. They can bring a well-reasoned, earthy knowledge and depth to any future development of the flea market area. And with adding additional language to the current sideshow ordinance in San Jose, as Equity and Reimagine can invite all parts of the community to better contribute to good community ideals, open democratic practices, and ideas of peace, not war. This can also include to more openly better address this country's national security state and how to hold the federal government more accountable for state violence and extremism issues. And from this, we can better focus and address this root of gun violence issues and even fireworks questions that should be more openly considered as state and federal trade issues. This can be a good reminder of what is possible with Equity and Reimagine ideas in Oakland, San Jose, Berkeley, and SF at this time, and eventually throughout the SF Bay Area. And a thank you for item 2.10 with a retroactive reminder of May dumpster days in District 5. We have nothing but time to better consider and understand good community sustainability ideas. This program can invite all parts of a community to dump their trash and bulk items and can make for good ways to develop good communication practices within a neighborhood. Thank you.
I have an in-person speaker, Paul Soto. Please come down.
Mr. Soto, welcome.
And I do have additional speakers on Zoom after Mr. Soto.
Speak on behalf of my ancestors, every single one of which had pesticides sprayed on them in Sasipuedes. And I take great exception with this city paying $1 to District 6 to talk to me about creating these safe, sustainable environments. Let me quote from District 6's memo. That blue zones encourage sustainable changes in our built environment and social networks, often suggesting systems-level changes in key settings such as work sites, schools, restaurants, and grocery stores. That was a recipe by which this city and county allowed for that redlining map of 1937 to be used in order to foster these environments. And I take great exception and offense and disrespect for District 6 to sit there and tell me about creating those environments. The economic, social, and environmental injustice just came out today. 17,000 kids have lead exposure in their blood. That's disgusting. And it was because District 6, Willow Glen, and Rose Garden created a system by which it relegated my ancestors to that side of town. Hillview Airport was used to load up planes with DDT pesticides, and they sprayed them. so that Willow Glen and Rose Garden can profit from it, can literally profit from it. And this city now wants to pay $1 to District 6 in order to promote good, sustainable work environments. If somebody says that I'm not good enough to live next to them, if somebody says that I'm not good enough to work next to them, they are saying consciously or subconsciously that I do not deserve to exist. It's called genocide.
Okay, I have 5 additional speakers on Zoom. The next one's Roberto Gonzalez.
Okay, we should probably hold off here. We didn't call item 2.2 yet.
Right.
And I'm guessing all these speakers would like to speak on 2.2.
Okay.
So why don't we do this?
We could ask them to lower, if you're on Zoom and you want to speak on 2.2, put your hand down for now. And then if anybody has their hand left.
I think the translation may be challenging. So why don't we do this? Why don't we just call 2.2?
Okay.
And that item is specifically, this is obviously the second reading on an ordinance relating to.
And it's specifically 2.2E, Mayor.
Yes, thank you. 2.2E specifically relates to an ordinance of the city of San Jose for the rezoning of the 61.5 acres on the south side of Berryessa Road. And I'm looking to see, I believe that also applies to F. And trying to figure out if G is part of that too. No, I think it's just
D, E, and F, possibly, but definitely E.
Yes, it's certainly D, E, and F. You're right, Councilmember Perales. All right, so that's the item we're going to call at this time. 2.2 D, E, and F are what public would more commonly known as the flea market site and the redevelopment there at Berryessa. Okay, so let's go to public comment now on that item.
Okay, Roberto Gonzalez.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Roberto Gonzalez, president of the Berryessa Flea Market Vendors Association. And we are attending this meeting today for you to ask that you pull the 2.2 item from the consent calendar and bring for a vote. We want to see the BFVA mentioned as a majority on the Flea Market Advisory Group. Since the vote on June 29th, our organization has become a California nonprofit organization, 501c3, and we have ratified our leadership group. As the only organization representing more than 180 vendors at the market, we ask that the BFVA is recognized and implicitly included in the advisory board moving forward. Thank you.
Mariana Mejia.
Hello, can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Mariana Mejia. I am the Vice President of the Berryessa Flea Market Vendors Association. We're at this meeting today to ask you to pull the flea market item 2.2 from the consent calendar and bring to a vote. We want to see the BFBA mentioned as a majority on the Flea Market Advisory Group. Since the vote on June 29, the organization has become a California nonprofit organization, 501c3, and we have ratified our leadership group. As the only organization representing more than 180 vendors, we ask that the BFBA is recognized and implicitly included in the advisory group. Thank you. And thank you.
Okay, Jose W. Jose W, go ahead. Okay, I'm going to move on to Ameda. It could be Amanda with a typo. Go ahead. Got it.
Hi, my name is Amanda Gonzalez. I am a member of the BFVA. We are at this meeting to ask that you pull the flea market item from the consent calendar and bring for a vote. We want to see the BFVA mentioned as a majority on the Flea Market Advisory Group. Since the vote on June 29th, our organization has become a California nonprofit organization, 501c3, and we have ratified our leadership group as the only organization representing more than 180 vendors. We ask that the BFBA is recognized and implicitly included in the advisory board. Thank you.
Alma? Alma, go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, my phone. Okay. Hi, my name is Salma. I'm a vendor at the flea market, and I'm also a member of the Berryessa Flea Market Vendor Association. I am here at this meeting as well to ask you to pull the flea market item from the consent calendar and bring for a vote. We really want to see the flea market, the BFVA mentioned as a majority on the flea market advisory group. Because since the vote on June 29th, our organization has become a California nonprofit organization, 501 C/3, and we have ratified our leadership group as the only organization representing more than 180 vendors. So we ask that the BFBA is organized and implicitly included in the advisory group board. Thank you.
Cayetano Arujo? Go ahead, Cayetano. Okay, I'm going to move on to Jeffrey Buchanan.
Members of the Council, good afternoon. Jeffrey Buchanan on behalf of Working Partnerships USA and Silicon Valley Rising. Would encourage the Council to consider, particularly based on the latest efforts of the various Flea Market Vendors Association to obtain their nonprofit status, and to go out to their more than 180 vendor membership to affirm their leadership, that now we should make sure to include, as the city embarks on this effort around the Flea Market Advisory Committee, that the Flea Market Vendors Association has a formal role in that committee. Certainly when working people organize, our elected officials should be listening to those working people. I find it hard to imagine a scenario for a contentious place-based development where if a neighborhood group were the only organized neighborhood group in an area, there would be such an issue made of the idea of formally recognizing that set of organized people in a neighborhood setting. I struggle to understand why, in this particular case, when this is the only organized group of vendors, why their organization is not named as a part of that group that's going to determine so many things about the future of the market. Certainly, there needs to be space for folks who aren't a part of that association, but let's be honest, this is a group who has been able to organize 180 vendors across cultures in an environment where the employer has not really supported their efforts to be able to speak amongst themselves. In fact, has actually thrown vendors out of the marketplace for trying to have discussions about the ongoings of that association. So I'd encourage the council to act to recognize the Berryessa Flea Market Vendors Association and the advisory committee.
Mario Davila. Mario?
Hello.
Go ahead.
You hear? Okay. Hi, my name is Mario Davila, member of the BFBA. We are at this meeting to ask that you pull the flea market item from the consent calendar and bring for a vote. We want to see the BFBA mention it as a majority of the flea market advisory group. Since the vote on June 29th, our organization has become a California nonprofit organization, 501c3, and we have ratified our leadership group. As the only organization representing more than 180 vendors, we ask that the BFBA as recognized and implicitly included in the advisory board. Thank you.
Cecilia Ortez.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, hello. I am a member of the BFBA, and we are in this meeting to ask you to pull the flea market item from the consent calendar and bring for a vote. We want to see that BFBA mentioned as a majority on the flea market advisory group. As the only organization representing more than 180 vendors, we ask that the BFBA is recognized and implicitly included in the advisory board. Thank you.
Caller 5140.
Yeah, you guys got to pull this thing. We don't want this area to become another Jamba Juice, CVS. I mean, when you move a CVS in the neighborhood, that's not gentrification, that's ghettoization. Have you seen these stores lately? They're terrible. They're awful. And you guys want to put a bunch of corporate crap in there? I mean, just what I want to do when I want to go to the east side is shop at Safeway. I mean, come on, people. When I go to the east side, I want to get the real deal. Not a bunch of white gentrification, man. And I'm Caucasian. So you guys got to get your act together and stop selling out to your corporate interest. It's disgusting. I can't believe that you guys would do something like this. You knew for years and years and years this BART was coming. Everybody was promising, oh yeah, nothing's going to happen to the vendors. Nothing's going to happen in the flea market. Then all of a sudden, the last second, hey, guess what? Everybody's got to move. Sorry, guys, you're out of business. But you know what's important? CVS, Safeway, and Jamba Juice. Yeah, that's going to all of a sudden make this area more interesting. It's going to make it disgusting. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. Everybody on the city council should resign for what you've done. You too, Sam. You too. I can't wait for the gun control measures to come up. That's the next thing, too. You should be ashamed of yourself. I mean, hey, Sam's in the White House instead of helping you guys out there at the flea market. You know, he's in there glad handing with Uncle Joe. And meanwhile, the poor people are going down the tubes here because of Sam's poor decisions with his corporate crony buddies. Like I say, Sam, resign now and be done with it. Don't run again either, please. Thanks.
Judith?
Hello?
Hello.
Hi. My parents are vendors at the flea market, and this would obviously be a tremendous loss to our income, and frankly, it would be way too difficult to just transition for a deal that favors these corporate overlords. I don't agree with any of this that you guys are trying to do. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, I have 3 hands still up. Jose W. is the next speaker.
Are you guys able to hear me now?
Yes.
I do apologize for that. Thank you guys for your time for today. My name is Jose Wall. I'm a member of the BFA Association of the Flea Market. I've been there for 20 years with my family. What we are asking for this meeting, we are asking you to pull the flea market item from the consent calendar and bring it for a vote. We want to see the BFA mentioned as a majority on the flea market advisory group. Since the vote of June 29th, our organization has become a California nonprofit organization, a 501c-3, and we have ratified our leadership group. As the only organization representing more than 180 vendors, we ask that the BFEA is recognized and implemented, including in the advisory board. So in other words, we've been there, and you guys are not looking at us or asking us. And we had to organize once again to get your guys' attention. So please be respectful. Acknowledge that people already are there and people's livelihoods are there too. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, I have the last two speakers. The first of the last two is JP, and that will be followed. He will be followed by Cayetano. Go ahead, Jay. Jay, you're unmuted. Go ahead. Okay, I'm going to move to Cayetano Arujo. Go ahead, Cayetano. Okay, there's no more hands up, and the last two didn't work.
Okay, let's return then to council for discussion. Councilmember Perales.
Thank you, Mayor. So I was contacted by the Bay Area Flea Market Vendors Association to ask that we reconsider their participation in the advisory group. And as you've just heard from their comments, since our last vote, there were two significant changes. Number one, they did receive official 501c3 status from the state, which, as you all might remember, was brought up by representatives of the Bump family as a potential issue because they had not been officially recognized. And then they have also gone back out to their members, which, as you heard, is just over 180, to have a revote on who their executive membership or leadership should be on confirming that. And so I am going to ask that we reconsider the participation within the advisory group for the Vendors Association, this official organization now. So I'll make a motion that we reconsider their participation, that it make up at least half of the vendors in the new advisory group. That's the motion.
Okay, there's a motion and second. I assume there's an acceptance of the remainder of the ordinance?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, that's all incorporated part of the motion.
Everything else, yeah, I'll move the rest of the item 2.2, I think, because we pulled the entirety of it, so.
Right.
Or, well, this was just D, E, and F, I guess.
D, E, and F, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and that's okay with the seconder as well. Okay. I guess a quick question, as I understand much of this was baked into the language of the agreement and the ordinance. I see Eric Schoenauer is here. Mr. Schoenauer, do you want to offer any thoughts about the position of the applicant?
Council Eric Schoenauer, I represent the flea market. First of all, it's great to see all of you in person. I can't see your smiling faces, but I can look you in the eye, so that's good. In any case, the city attorney can clarify this. My understanding is that there cannot be revisions to the language on the agenda without coming back to council for a revote and then another second reading. If that's the case, then we're strongly opposed to this because we cannot accept any further delay. This has been a chaotic process with months of delay at the Planning Commission, months of delay at the City Council, and we're done. Our voluntary offer deadline is today. And the action happens today, or that goes off the table, the $5 million and everything else. We're done. So unless you can fully approve the second reading today, the offer's off the table. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schoenauer. Nora, did you want to comment about the ordinance? Offer any insights?
Thank you, Mayor. The language that was included before was that there would be a supermajority of flea market vendors, including members from any vendors association. And what I understand is you want to change that now to at least half of that supermajority is from one vendors association.
And Nora, let me ask you to lean into the mic because I know it's
Okay.
very hard with the mask for everyone to hear.
Okay. All right. As drafted, the provisions are that a supermajority of flea market vendors, including members from any vendors association, is to be created, and that but there was no particular association at that time. And now you're talking about making a change so that that supermajority has to be half of one vendors association. All right.
Yes.
That would appear to be a substantive change to what was decided previously. I don't know if there are any other vendor associations out there or any other groups. As you know, there was a lot of comment and there were a lot of people that weren't part of associations who had commented and had different issues. So the concern is that it's a substantive change to the ordinance and it would require coming back.
Okay, so we would need to come back. Any other comments or questions about the motion? I would rather have a bird in the hand, frankly, than to imperil this entire deal. At this point, it's clear to me that the existing language will ensure a supermajority of the members of this commission or whatever it is we're calling this task force is going to be composed of the actual vendors, and I think that's the important thing as far as I'm concerned. Vice Mayor Jones?
Thank you, Mayor, and I agree with you. I think that this whole process has been very complex and convoluted, and if you change one piece, then the whole thing can potentially unravel. And we spent several council days trying to work through all these issues as well as all the negotiations that took place. So I don't feel comfortable supporting the motion on the floor. I think that we have a good deal. I think that the Vendors Association as well as other vendors are going to be well represented, and they're going to have their voices heard, and they're going to have their input in the process. So I'm not going to support the motion on the floor, and I think that we have a good deal and we should just move forward with it.
Councilmember Crosco?
Thank you, and I want to thank all the speakers for having called in. I know that this is a very complicated way of doing business. By the way, hello everybody and welcome back. It's great to see everyone and listen to everyone. And I want to thank also Mr. Eric Schoenauer for being here and giving us some of the family's perspective. Because I think it's important to know what's at risk if we were to prolong this. So I've been very supportive of making sure that our representatives or the flea market association representatives are at the table. I know it's been a long process. I know that we've spent several days on this. I have to say, I'm okay with spending several days on this because it's been so complicated and because so many families will be impacted. This is not something that's happening overnight. It's going to be something that's going to happen over the course of several years. But even with that said, and the plans that are being put in place, let's not forget. I mean, these are thousands of family members that will be impacted. So spending 2 days, 3 days, or several weeks on making sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's is A-okay with me. You know, I was on board in making sure that we secured seats for our association. I'm very concerned, I have to be honest, with pushing on this today, only because as Mr. Schoenauer just mentioned, the voluntary benefits that have been talked about, have been vetted out, have been done in conjunction with the association and with many of the council members here. I'm just concerned that that will be put at risk, and unless I had, reassurance from the vendors that they were okay risking everything, I thought I was going to come in and support this, and I don't think I'm going to be able to support it this time around.
Thank you. Councilmember Foley?
Where's my audio on? Sorry. Nora, you mentioned that, I just want a clarification, that if there is a substantive change, then we do need to bring this back, and in your opinion, this is a substantive change?
Correct.
Okay. Then I cannot support the motion either. I think we need to move forward. The way that the ordinance is set up is that the vendors do have a tremendous voice already and will continue to have if the ordinance is adopted today. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Pearl, since you spoke, I'm going to go through the other council members and come back to you. Councilman Cohen?
Yeah, thank you. I just take a moment to acknowledge my first speaking here in the council chambers. So,
welcome.
I do want to thank all the members of the Vendor Association for all their advocacy. I mean, we're here at this moment because of their advocacy with a 5-acre urban market, $5 million fund that will help them in the transition, with hopefully more money that will be coming in as the process plays out, and a group put together that will be made up of a supermajority of vendors who will guide this process going forward. That agency is because of their advocacy, and it's really, and it shows that they're a strong group. And I have no doubt, and I had no doubt all along, that probably the entirety of that supermajority will be made up of people who are currently members of that organization. It was never really a question of mine that would be the case. I never thought that it was necessary for us to be prescriptive as to how that will be constituted in this ordinance. I just want to say one more thing before we move to the vote. I mean, I think it's important for us to close this today. You know, we did postpone the vote from having a special meeting in July to save us from coming back during our month of vacation, so we moved it to August 3rd just in order to help ourselves out and not come back in July, so that's why we're doing it today. But I want to also point out that the actual membership of this committee in the ordinance is scheduled to come back to council for approval. So there's one more crack at this at the council level if we don't actually like the way the committee is constituted. So there will be another chance for the council to hear who the membership is and decide whether or not it's an appropriate membership. So there's plenty of opportunities here for us to come back to it. I look forward to continuing to engage with the Vendor Association. I mean, I'm glad that they're proceeded as a 501c3. It's great to hear that they're continuing to do the right thing and continue to be strong advocates, and I look forward to their continued involvement. But I hope that we'll just, I mean, I think the appropriate thing for me to do at this point is to make a substitute motion to approve the ordinance as was written, and then we can move forward. So that's the substitute motion that I'll make now.
Second.
All right, it's a motion. I heard several seconds. I'll give it to Vice Mayor Jones since he was closer to me. Councilmember Esparza.
Thank you, Mayor. And those were my questions around the makeup of the committee or the task force as it stands right now. So that is a majority vendors, correct? Right? So it's a majority of vendors. We have one more crack at the makeup of this committee. And the vendors that sit on the task force include the vendor association that Councilmember Peralez mentioned. Is that correct?
Well, the ordinance says that any group
right
has to have representation, so it would be a minimum of one, but
right.
You know, my assumption is that if there's no other groups, that they will end up making up a majority of that supermajority.
Right. So this association will have a seat, right? That was part of the discussion that we had in June, was to have a seat on the task, or have a, be a full partner on the task force. So I'm going to support the substitute motion because I think that there's an opportunity for more participation. And I, as the task force moves forward, I'd like to see that makeup, and that's where we can really kind of drill down a little bit more. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Perales?
Yeah, thank you, and appreciate Nora the heads up there. Definitely was not my intention to try and delay this yet another week. The idea was to see if we could get something that would actually make a change today, but not necessarily be significant enough to require yet another delay and another reading. So I'll actually be supporting the substitute motion, and I know that it is Councilmember Cohen's interest, as we have spoken, to ensure that the Bay Area Flea Market Vendors Association does have representation in this group. And without changing the ordinance as the current motion stands, I'd like to just ask that we make that specific, and I know you already are doing that, Councilmember Cohen, working with the Bay Area Flea Market Vendors Association. I think the likelihood is that they will have more than one seat. The hope was that we could make it very specific within the ordinance, but we're past that, and so now it's the idea would be that would be the intent, right? That they're obviously a large part of forming this group, and I know that was your interest, and so I just ask that we state that to make it specific, and I'll support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ines?
Yeah, my concern was also the makeup of the group and who's sitting around the table. And since we don't know what that is going to look like, I was supportive of Councilmember Perales's suggestion. I do like the idea that there is another opportunity and for us to really take a look at that makeup, but I think we have to be very careful. It says in the ordinance that it's any group. And I think we, even though you may not want to be prescriptive, I think that really opens it up. And so I don't know what the balance will be in terms of vendor representation. I also just want to thank all the vendors and the folks who are involved, have been involved in this, including my colleagues, in supporting our community and our really micro small businesses that have been in place in our city for many, many years at the flea market. It is absolutely important to have this level of participation. This is the level of participation that we all look for within our own communities. It is a blessing in disguise, really, because it creates some awareness about being involved in your local city hall issues. And I just wanted to acknowledge that this group has gone as far as in order to legitimize themselves, they've gone as far as establishing themselves as a 501c3. And from what I understand, that is no easy task. So I congratulate you on your status and your level of participation, and hopefully we can continue to have this conversation where all of the vendors and on the other side, in terms of the owners, feel comfortable who's sitting around the table. I'd also like to just, this process is always a give and take, and so it is never a all or nothing because there's somebody who always ends up losing. We wanted to make sure that it's a win-win for our community, for our small businesses, for the greater city, and so I just want to make sure I remind folks on both sides that this is really that intention. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion, a superseding motion from Councilmember Cohen. Let's vote on that motion. We'll do that through our screens, and that will be reported by the clerk to the public.
Okay, the vote was unanimous. I would also like to say that we're having Zoom audio issues. So if you're on Zoom, I think you can hear me, but you can't hear the dais. We are working on it. It sounds like he just said it was fixed.
Okay. Some people would be happy to know they can only hear from Tony, not from me. But all right, that was unanimous. We'll now consider a motion on the remainder of the consent calendar.
Move approval.
Second.
Any comments? Let's vote on that.
The vote is unanimous. I have 2 hands up. They may be residuals from 2.2, but I should call them just in case.
Okay, we had heard public comment on consent calendar once.
That's true. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Okay. Let's move forward then to the report of the acting city manager. Lee is filling in acting for the acting city manager.
That is correct. No report, Mayor.
Excellent acting job, very succinct. I appreciate that, Lee. All right, we're on to the Appeals Hearing Board interviews. But, oh, no, we're not. That's not to be heard before 3. Is that right, Tony?
Right, that wasn't officially on the agenda, it's not before 3, but neither one of them could make it before 3.
Okay,
so
well, that's good enough for
we're
me.
just gonna push it.
So we'll come back when they can make it. That'll be in a few minutes. Let's go on to 3.4, which is the fiscal year property tax levy for GO bonds. There is a presentation. Welcome, Julia. And congratulations, by the way, on the AAA bond rating, which is tremendous credit to all the work of your team and the entire city team. It's quite an honor, and I know that'll save our taxpayers a lot of money, so thank you.
Yes, thank you. So hopefully the presentation will pop up. I'm partly making a presentation so that we can test out the system in Zoom. So it's a relatively brief presentation, so I'm a little bit of a guinea pig. So trying to see the presentation will go up. So this is the action item for today, is to approve the GO tax levy for fiscal year 22 that goes to the county to be placed on the property tax roll. It also has a small portion of it that also pays the admin fee. So the property tax levy for fiscal year, oh, and I forgot to, this is Nikolai Skarloff. He's our Deputy Director of Treasury and Debt Management. Trying to figure out how to get back in the chambers here. So the property tax levy will be sufficient with all the money we have on hand, plus generating about $44 million from the tax levy, plus the admin fee to the county to collect, to pay the debt service on all the GO bonds that are outstanding, not just the new ones we issued, but all the outstanding GO bonds for calendar year 2022. So just as a comparison, when we look at the net average assessed value of a single-family condominium owner in San Jose, so remember, property taxes are done on assessed value, not market value. So the average assessed value of a home in San Jose is just under $600,000. So this tax levy will result in about $122 being collected from the property owners. So this table right here just shows the process and the rate. There's the secured roll, and then there's the unsecured roll. And the rate for the unsecured roll is the prior year's rate. So you can see how that is calculated. Then just on the next slide, we issued a supplemental memo that provided the results of the bond sale that we had in mid-July. We sold just over $200 million of bonds that were authorized under the Measure T. It was a second issuance, and it will leave about another $200 million outstanding. We sold 3 series of bonds, tax exempt, and 2 series of taxable bonds. So we sold these bonds through a competitive sale, which basically says we advertised to the market that at, I think it was 7:30 in the morning on July 14th, that we would be taking bids. And we received 11 bids, and Bank of America was the winning bidder. So when you look at this table, what's really interesting and should be the city is how tight the bids are, how close there is between the winning bid, which had a true interest cost of just over 2.7%, and the next bid was 0.009903 higher in yield than the winning bid. So that means there were a lot of investors that really wanted to purchase these bonds. And then the spread, again, between the winning bid and the highest bid was, again, less than 0.1%. These bonds were also had a lower interest rate than the MND index, which is a borrowing index of the most highly rated AAA GO state issuers, and it was lower by just over 1 basis point. And this is really attributable to the city's high credit ratings and strong demand. These bonds, the 2021 bonds, were priced lower than the 2019 GO bonds, which had an interest rate of a 2.867%. So in terms of our ratings, as the mayor mentioned, the Fitch rating did upgrade the city's GO bonds to AAA. That's the highest rating that's possible. It's important to note that this is just the rating on the GO bonds. The city's issuer rating still stands at AA1, AA+, which is one notch below the highest rating. All three rating agencies maintain the stable outlook on the bonds. So in conclusion, our recommendation is up there to approve the property tax levy for fiscal year 21-22. So with that, we're able to answer any questions.
Great, thank you, Julia. All right, Tony?
Okay, I have Paul Soto. And then I have two hands up on Zoom.
When we're talking about property taxes, this is at the heart of equity. The city has already acknowledged that redlining policies has concentrated wealth in specific neighborhoods of this city. Okay, and so when you state that openly, and then you start talking about equity, okay, and you don't back that up, because we need concrete policy. That's why this is so important to have the Office of Racial Equity in on every single one of these policies that pass, because it rings hollow when you start talking about equity issues and these properties are not being taxed. And I'll give you an example. As soon as the non-disclosure agreement that you signed, Mayor Liccardo, with Google, as soon as you signed that, the property values in those areas went up 7%. 7% in a 30-day period. Okay, and this is redlined area that we're talking about. So what happened in terms of Google's location in that area is it literally sent out instantaneously billions of dollars to every single one of these properties in terms of accumulated wealth. Okay, and that is going to continue to accelerate. And that's not being taxed. That's not being taxed. That $150 million deal that went down, that's peanuts. That is shameful. That we accepted $150 million, that's nothing. Google made $186 billion in that fiscal year of COVID, and we got 150 out of that. And that's in perpetuity. That's it. That's all we're getting. What I would like to see is that the city really start backing up their commitment to equity and start centering it in the redlining policies that we already acknowledge happened, and start taxing Willow Glen and Rose Garden.
Okay, Blair Beekman.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Thank you very, very much for the words of Paul Soto on that last item. I think what Paul is speaking to is really ways to address past generations of issues of equity and redlining. And he's addressed a situation very well. How do we talk about, the future of our bond issues, which is going to be an important part of the future of our local economy here? How do we talk about that in terms of good equity ideas? Thanks. Thanks a lot for Paul's words. That is about something of what I wanted to speak about today. So Paul has covered it. Thank you. I wanted to quickly offer that on the last item, I think the mayor misjudged public comment time, and that he got a bit confused in describing what was public comment for item 2.2 and what was general public comment. I think and he has a habit of doing that, of quickly brushing over a consent calendar time when we're on a specific item. He doesn't take the time to really make sure that we've asked, has the rest of public comment consent calendar been spoken to? He has a tendency to brush over that recently. We were speaking on item 2.2. I'm sorry for my own issues if I took an extra 20 seconds and spoke on item 2.10 out of convenience, just to get my full public comment over with. Paul Soto spent time on other items besides 2.2, I think, and then it was simply no one else was allowed to speak on consent calendar, and the mayor specifically made it a point that we were only speaking on item 2.2, and he wanted to speak on 2.2. So he didn't allow that extra time for consent for the rest of the items. He should be aware of that and realize he's creating a bad habit for
Caller 5140.
you're talking about people, Sam Liccardo blowing people off, that's what he always does, man. The brush off is what you get as the tiny taxpayer, right? You're not the big donor for, from his buddies, right? I vote no on all these taxes. What are we getting for these property taxes? We're getting a big, fat goose egg. We have no police protection. There's 2 derelict buildings in derelict District 9. Pam Foley, hey, are you listening? You've got 2 properties that are burned out, and I don't know who's paying property taxes there, but it's definitely driving down the value of the neighborhood and just a complete eyesore. This is awful, and we pay all these property taxes. We pay taxes on our utilities. We pay taxes on our phone. We pay taxes on the gas. We pay sales tax that just went up, and you people want more and want to allocate more. Shame on you. You haven't sharpened your pencil since 1962, I can tell you, down there. This is a terribly run city. Have you taken a look at the lampposts lately? They're all rusted. Looks like they're going to fall over. I look forward to when one does, so you guys will repair them, because some of them are like a leaning tower of Pisa. I don't even know what's keeping them together. They used to be painted green. Now they're rusted like you can't believe. You have a fountain at the Rose Garden that's broken every time I go there. And you guys want to build a new village? I can't wait to see this village, man. I can't wait to see a broken fountain, if you even have one, with fake grass, no parking spaces. I can't wait to see these villages. It's gonna look like Eastern Europe, like 1968 or something. I can't wait to see the glass, the faded glass and the rusted steel. It's all gonna be there. And everybody, remember who told you how horrible these villages are? Because these people can't run a city.
There's no more speakers.
Thank you. On that bright note, we will return to the council. Is there a comment or question or motion? I think I heard a motion from Councilmember Carrasco and a second somewhere to my left. Councilmember Arenas. Okay. Again, thanks to great finance team. We really, it's obvious there was an enormous amount of interest for this issuance, and really a credit to the work that everybody's doing, budget, finance, everywhere. All right, let's vote. All right, that's unanimous. Oh, I took Tony's job.
That's fine.
Okay, all right, cool. Item 3.5 is a public hearing for fiscal year 21-22 sanitary sewer service and use charge and storm sewer service charge assessments for the Santa Clara County Secured Property Tax Roll. I'm opening the public hearing on this item and for placing these charges on the Santa Clara County Secured Property Tax Roll. The public hearing provides an opportunity for any interested person to be heard about putting these charges on the tax roll. So we look forward to hearing from you. And Tony will tell us who would like to speak.
I have no in-person cards. I do have one on Zoom, Blair Beekman.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Thank you. For this item, which for my 2 minutes, I've been talking and learning for the past few months about ideas about subsidies and the future of subsidies for ourselves in the Bay Area, state of California, and throughout the country in this time of COVID-19. I've been learning in San Jose, that it is through the property taxes ideas that a lot of, the garbage rate issues, water rate issues, electricity issues, I guess, possibly, can be, within the property tax issue and these raises that are taking place. And but I hope there can be some real sentiment towards and trust of what the future of the subsidy process is going to be about for ourselves as a local community and as a society. Basically, there is just a ton of money going into state coffers, from the federal level And I mean, they're just delivering a ton of money to develop new practices of subsidy programs for ourselves. The city governments of the Bay Area have to learn to be open about this and share this with their community. And everyday people have to learn to not be afraid about these programs and learn to talk about it with their city government. Because city government, you know, they don't want to describe this stuff because they fear the public's scared of it. We got to develop open lines of communication with these subjects. And we got to learn to practice subsidy that is practiced well. And it's not used in terms of a corporate welfare system to feed real estate companies, for instance, but helps to serve people who need the help. And we need to learn to be open about these things. Thank you.
Caller 5540.
I mean, you know what's going to be coming from me. It's going to be no more taxes. The city and county don't deserve one more penny. I mean, we got a coyote problem in derelict District 9, Pam Foley's district. We've got coyotes tearing apart people's pets, tearing apart chihuahuas when they're on the leash. And vector control has their hands tied because this city and this county and this state is run by people who don't understand anything. I mean, wouldn't it be terrible if one of your pets was mauled by a coyote? But you want me and everybody in this area to pay more and more taxes on everything? You guys should be ashamed of yourselves. It's a crime. It's theft. What this city, county, and state are doing to the residents. You wonder why people are leaving in droves. I'm not. I'm staying here till the end. I don't retreat. Okay. So you're gonna have residents like me till the end. Hopefully, I'll live another 50 years. Because I'll never, ever shut up about how much people are being ripped off by this city, this county, and this state, and now this federal government through taxes. You people must have a lot of money to keep voting for all this because it must not affect you. And any kind of property tax increases, it affects everybody, rich and poor, especially poor people. They pay rent. If the property tax goes up, well, the landlord's going to reflect that in the rent. You're so concerned about poor people? I don't think so. Poor people have to pay the tax on their phone. You got to pay tax on everything. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves. You should hang your head low for everybody right now for what you're doing. It's a crime. It's disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourselves. I don't know how anybody voted you. Actually, I did vote for Sam Liccardo. That's really why I don't like you, because
There are no more speakers.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion on the floor? I don't think so. So we will take a motion.
I'll move
this time.
approval.
Thank you. Motion second. Any comments? Let's vote. All right, the vote's unanimous. Thank you. 3.6. I am opening a public hearing on the annual residential solid waste collection service charges and for placing these charges on the Santa Clara County secured property tax roll. This public hearing provides an opportunity for any interested person to be heard about putting these charges on the tax roll. And we look forward to hearing from you, but specifically only as to this item. Tony?
Blair Beekman.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Sorry, I should have spoke my previous words from my previous public comment should be, I think I should have saved it for this one because it is, the sanitary sewer issues, trash, water, electricity, those are the big ones that are going through rate hikes at this time that, there's a whole subsidy program being involved with them that is not really being talked about openly. But yet it's just vital to our survival and how we think and work, yet it's really kept on the QT and on the hush-hush. And I think it's a really bad way to work. I mean, we're entering a new era with these COVID issues, and none of us like it, but we just simply are getting a ton of new money from the state and federal level. And we have to talk about those things openly. And we have to start making decisions more openly as a society, as a community about these things. And it's just hurtful that we're trying to continue the same antiquated practices that basically are the ideas of, Victorian capitalism, that you don't talk about these things in public. These aren't the kind of conversations that you have in public. It's that whole trip. And, meanwhile, we all know what's going on and what's happening. Politicians need to learn to express what's happening, and the public themselves need to learn to grow more comfortable and ask more questions about the subsidy process itself. And like I said before, the whole purpose is for subsidies to help people who really need the help, and that's low-income people. Good luck how we can do those things, and thanks for your time.
Okay, caller 5140.
Solid waste, right? Oh yeah, it's just another add-on, another tax, hiding it. You guys are hiding it, like these secrets. This isn't grammar school anymore, people. You're trying to hide taxes with the solid waste and all this. You know what? The trash and the solid waste and everything and the refuse. You know where it should end up? It should end up in the front of City Hall, big piles of it. That's where it belongs. That's where it needs to be backed up, along with all the animals that are running wild, the wild pigs and the coyotes. They should just take everything and pile it in front of City Hall, because that's where it belongs. Because well, you know what? City Hall already stinks of high heaven. So I don't know how much it's going to change. But taxing people and hiding these things in the bills, it's real easy to try to dupe the public, because with hiding these things and putting these taxes on all of our utilities and all of our phones and adding it secretly into the property taxes. You guys are sneaky, man. The mafia, man, the dead mafia guys must be rolling in their graves thinking about what they could have done. You guys are trying to hide everything in plain view. You're like a mafia down there. And what do you have to back it up with? City ordinances, the code enforcement, the ridiculous police department, the fire department that never puts out any fires. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves down there. This has got to be one of the worst run cities in the entire nation. In a sea of wealth, where does it all go? Oh, I forgot. We have to give the police department $500 million to do absolutely nothing. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. And you, Pam Foley, you're the worst down there.
That was the last speaker.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Sensini. You have a bright future writing greeting cards. All right, let's consider a motion on this item. Let's vote on the motion.
If anybody is in the back and wishes to vote, please come forward.
Okay, if you are in the green room, come on out. This is a good time to vote.
Mayor, can I just say that I went back there to grab something. You actually can't hear the meeting.
You can't hear anything.
So they probably don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we
maybe want to go back and send a little. Yeah. Thank you, Councilmember Jimenez. Appreciate it.
There's no speakers in the back, so
we
don't know what's going on.
That's why Councilmember Jimenez ran back there. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Jimenez.
Okay, that vote is
All right.
unanimous.
So you vote notwithstanding Mr. Sensini's testimony. Okay, let's move back then to the Appeals Board Hearing Board interviews. We now have how many candidates?
Okay, so there's 2 candidates.
Okay.
In June, you appointed a person without an interview to fill the remainder of this year. So this is for the term beginning January 1st. We have 2 people to interview, Manish Bajpai and Brett Williamson. Manish is on, so I would suggest we start with him. He's on Zoom. I'm going to promote him to panelist, so if he wants to share video, he can do so.
And just to be clear, for the term beginning in January, there's just one position left?
One position.
Because we filled the
yes.
other one.
Yeah,
Okay, everybody clear? So we're picking one person among these two.
Yes.
All right.
So Manish is on Zoom, and so this is up to,
Okay.
I don't know how to get him on the screen.
Huh.
But Manish, if you
Let's
want
give
to
everyone a
share
chance
video
to
or unmute, you can do so.
Get to
at
his
will.
application.
Hi, this is Manish. I'm just trying to share my video. Can you hear me?
Great.
Yes, we can hear you.
Mr. Bajpai, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, sir. Perhaps we could start with you just, first I want to say thank you for your interest in serving. We appreciate very much your willingness to commit your time to the community, to the public. Perhaps we could begin with just you offering a description of your interest in this role and how you believe you could do a good job on the commission and why you'd like to serve.
Okay. So I've been living in San Jose for a little bit more than 5 years. And I've been working in Santa Clara all this time. And so I call this place home. Before this, also I was in Bay Area in other cities. But I wanted to kind of start setting up my roots here and kind of give back to the city I live in. So I looked at various options. And I liked this one a lot because personally, keeping things clean and tidy and orderly is one of my interests. And I have been always civic minded. So I looked at the list of available options and I thought that this one is something that aligns more with my interests and I'd like to participate. Having said that, I have been to one meeting last month and haven't had much of an exposure before that. So my experience in this field is limited, but I saw what I liked. People are able to come and have, if they have any questions, we are able to resolve them, but otherwise we basically enforce the code and try to keep the city blight free and free of any such issues.
Thank you, Mr. Bob. Appreciate again your application, your willingness to serve. Let's go first to the council for questions. Councilmember Mahan.
Thanks, Mayor, and hi, Mr. Bajpai. Thank you for your application and thoughtful responses. You mentioned wanting to encourage more public participation in the board, and I just wanted to ask how you envision doing that.
Yeah, so again, I don't have a full understanding of everything, so it might be a little bit just enthusiasm, but I felt like there are probably more areas in San Jose than the city is able to cover right now with the limited staffing. And if we could promote this board and the code awareness in people using social media, there's Facebook, of course, there's Twitter, and then there's Nextdoor where a lot of us are active. And just letting people know that this is an important avenue for people to know and interact with. I thought that that would basically lead to a better participation of people.
Great, thank you very much.
All right, other questions? Bajpai, I just want to ask a question about how you envision your role on the appeals board. You'll be provided with the municipal code and various rules of the city. They'll be asked to apply to various circumstances, and inevitably some circumstance will arise in which you think that maybe whoever it is who wrote this Muni code didn't consider the particular circumstance, and you believe that that the law isn't quite correct, or the law isn't really aligned with your values or with what you believe should be the right outcome. And in that case where you think there's a conflict between what you think is the right outcome and what is the right outcome that is dictated under the code, how do you believe you're going to resolve that conflict?
Mm-hmm. So I think that in case the law is completely ambiguous in a situation, and in that case, I think I would give the benefit of doubt to the appealing party. That's in most simple terms. I think that anybody who is appealing has a right to the due process, and it would be unfair for us to interpret the law in a way to be more punitive than is intended. So that's my simple take on it.
All right, thank you. Are there other questions from the council? Councilmember? Nope. Give everyone a chance to think. All right. Mr. Bashpai, thank you very much for taking the time. We'll be right in touch with you shortly after we have an opportunity to complete all of our interviews.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, the other interviewee has not signed on. So at this point, you could appoint Manish, or we could bring back the other person for another date. This is the same person who did not show up for the interviews in June.
I'll move
And then-
approval of Mr. Manish.
Second.
And then the third person dropped out, by the way. If you look at the applications, and there was 3, that third person dropped out.
Right. Huh. Okay. Is Mr. Bashpai with us still?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Mr. Bashpai, I just wanted to offer one thought. I think I can see where the vote's going to go, and I'm going to vote to support you, but I just want to suggest that it's never the case that any law gets it right all the time. We all know that, but the challenge is that as commissioners and as council members, our role is, well, I shouldn't say as council members because we have the opportunity to change the law, but as commissioners, we are expecting that you are going to enforce the law as it is. And if it needs to be changed, then certainly we welcome your input to the council in changing the law in some way that makes it more just or more appropriate. But we really do, at least I believe, it's important that you apply the law as it is and not as you imagine it ought to be. We have a democratic process for changing the law. We do that in public hearings in front of the public through a process that ensures that everybody understands the consequences and implications. And if instead what we have is different commissions interpreting the laws and applying whichever rule they believe is in the favor of the outcome they like, then this process is very much undermined in the democratic process because simply nobody can have confidence that the law will be applied. So I just want to encourage you to consider that. And I appreciate again your willingness to serve. Okay.
Before we vote, we do have Paul Soto turned in a card to speak.
Okay. Mr. Soto?
I thank you for that comment, Mayor Liccardo, that it's important to understand that you do have the capacity to change laws. You know, this council does have it within its power to redo and to change what has already happened in this city that we commonly acknowledge from the dais in terms of the rhetoric, but we don't have the concrete policy change to reflect that we value that. And because of that, there's where the confusion comes in. It's like, do I violate a law and challenge a law based on if we always just followed the law, we wouldn't have Rosa Parks. We wouldn't have the bus boycotts in the South. You know, sometimes there comes a time when you just say, no, I'm not going to follow this law. This law is wrong on moral and ethical grounds, and I will accept the responsibility, and I will accept the consequence for breaking that. And then I will challenge that on its own merits. And then we as citizens are challenged. Does the law have to have morality? Can we pass laws comfortably as moral and ethical beings and yet pass laws that violate human personality? Redlining in particular. these I want to restrict my comments though to these boards. When I found out that 4 members of the Planning Commission were from District 6, that was just foul. That was just wrong. And it did require a law to change that. And I'm glad that Rolando Bonilla went ahead and changed it. Me and him were in the room at the same time when I confronted that issue. And so the responsibility is incumbent on this council to ensure that laws are not just followed.
Caller 5140.
I agree. Why follow the laws by unethical and immoral people who are on the city council and the mayor? They want to change the laws so they can have a speed camera in this state or in this city. They want to change state law to do that. They want to deny you police service, but revenue you with a guy with a radar gun on Cherry Avenue. It's immoral. It's unethical what you guys do. These new gun laws, immoral, unethical, unconstitutional. I don't know how it's going to pass constitutional muster. The city's going to have to pay for Sam's misguidance on this issue. He thought he was going to go meet with Joe Biden and everything was going to be solved. We'll see. But this city council is disgraceful. It really is. I don't know anything. There hasn't been anything that you guys have ever done that's benefited this city at all. I've listened to these meetings. It's unbelievable what you people do. The wrong decisions are made every single time. You guys never make the right decisions, ever. For even your own constituents who vote for you or who like you. I don't know how you keep getting reelected or how you get elected in the first place. I have no idea. Re-election for sure is a mystery to me. But Paul's right. Immoral and unethical people. It's sad, but it's true. And I hope all of you get voted out next time, or just term out and go disappear somewhere in another state or whatever, because what you're doing is just terrible. Just terrible how this city is run. I'm looking out at potholes, and I've called in to get potholes fixed. They don't get fixed. It's just terrible. You should all be ashamed of yourselves.
That's the final speaker.
I'm sorry, Tony, I didn't quite hear that.
That was the final speaker.
Okay, great. Councilmember Carrasco?
Thank you, Mayor. And I really appreciate the comments that some of our speakers made, but especially Mr. Paul Soto. I just wanted to correct the record. Commissioner Bonilla did not change the law. He's actually, one of my appointees, and I'm grateful that the council at that time voted him in because we needed someone from District 5. But actually, the challenges that were made to what the previous commission makeup was brought up by this council, and me in particular, Councilmember Esparza, Jimenez, Perales, Arenas. You've got your contingency here that is looking after a lot of these issues that have needed to be challenged. And so grateful that I am on a council that is moving in, I think, in a very positive direction when it comes to addressing some of the injustices. We're not perfect. It doesn't happen overnight. But I do want to set the record straight. Bonilla did not change the law. He was appointed by me and voted in by the rest of the council. And so I just wanted to address that. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Esparza?
Thank you, Mayor. And since we're acknowledging folks, I actually also wanted to acknowledge Vice Mayor Jones and the mayor and you, Mayor, for working with Councilmember Carrasco and myself to initiate some of the changes that this council ultimately approved. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Okay, other comments? All right, let's vote on this commissioner. The vote is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Bashpa. I appreciate your willingness to serve, and I believe we'll be in touch about the next steps. Is that right, Tony?
Yes, my staff will contact him to do the oath.
Great, thank you very much. All right. I believe that covers the entire agenda, so we will go to open forum.
Okay, I have two physical cards. Lillian Koenig and followed by Paul Soto. Looks like Lillian left, so just Paul Soto, and then we'll go to Zoom.
Well, Horseshoe, I'm proud to come here to these meetings to represent my ancestors, to represent my ancestry to California. I have in my possession, in my backpack, my baptismal records and birth certificates connecting me to the Comier people that built the first mission in California, Mission San Diego. So I'm a Native American and I'm a Chicano. And there's never been a point of rest or peace for my people in this city. Decapitations occurred in this city that were sanctioned by a speech that Peter Burnett had the nerve to give from St. James Park. January 6, 1851, he gave a speech in this city. And in that speech, he stated explicitly, not only that he's going to exterminate Indians and that it's inevitable that the Native American will be, but he also stated in that same very speech that blacks and Indians were intellectually inferior to whites, and that a person, a human being, needs to be predisposed to governance, and that God, via manifest destiny, the concept that was predicated on James Polk's philosophy, was instituted into policy via Peter Burnett, which put Fallon in the place of putting that flag here, and that led to to a Holocaust that rivals the Jew. Now, we don't say anything to the Jew about commonly acknowledging and recognizing and always remembering what has happened to him. But yet when I come here and I acknowledge that here, I get looked at with indifference, I get looked at with intolerance, and I actually get the police to lock me up. That's the things I get from what it is like in my city.
Blair Beekman.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Thanks for the meeting today. For all of the sadness, loss, death, and grieving from the end of May VTA event, after 60 plus days now of alone reflection and a self-doubt, and a more closed-up, secretive, war room-like setting that seems to currently be going around San Jose local government and the VTA, with a very, very decent return to good transit operation practices of the VTA bus bridge for the First Street corridor from Bay Point to downtown San Jose this week, I hope this can be the time to begin to better consider our more positive ideas of why we are all a part of the community process in the first place, and that serving our more open, better democratic community ideals is almost always a positive healer, and ideas of peace, good logic, and good feeling that can help continue good practices during trauma and warfare. ACLU, open public policy ideas, can also offer good guidelines and legal precedents that is specifically meant to organize ideas of peace and open democracy that can very much help in the times of warfare, chaos, and trauma for current ideas and questions of equity and reimagine. And that I feel can also help in how all sides can be respected in the questions of creating a San Jose Reimagine task force at this time as well. Equity, reimagine, and open public policies with tech are simply some of our better practices at this time and can speak much to the ideas of peace, hope, and more open democratic practices for the next decade in San Jose, the Bay Area, and across the country. And that can allow for continued good practices in the community situations of warfare, trauma, and violence. I hope this can be something of the focus of conversation at the National Night Out tonight. In a maturity, I hope we can all be feeling towards to more openly address issues.
Caller 5140.
Yeah, in this open forum, I'd just like to say that this city needs to do better. And this whole thing, we're going to try harder and we can do better and we're not perfect. It's not an excuse. That's actually a cop out. We're going to do better. We're going to try harder. We're not. That is cop out language. And it seems as if I hear that a lot from the politicians of this city, especially the police department. I mean, we're going to try harder. We're not perfect. Hey, what about when you're a citizen and you're not perfect? What happens to you? You get fined, you get jailed, you get cited, you get silenced. You might even get assaulted by them if you're not perfect, right? You know who's perfect every single time is the taxpayer. They're perfect, right? And they don't ever say, "Hey, man, we're going to try harder." Taxpayer doesn't say that. We're not perfect. We don't say that. We just keep doing what we're doing, right? We keep working hard. We don't have cop-outs. We don't have big fat salaries like the city people do, right? Getting paid $500,000 a year or whatever to be armed bureaucrats down there. This is focused on San Jose PD. What a joke of a department down there. They should be ashamed of themselves. And like I say, these coyotes tearing up people's pets. It's terrible. It's absolutely awful. Finding dead cats on front lawns. It's just awful. Some people might think it's funny. I don't. And what is going to happen when they start attacking people? What are you going to do? What are you going to do when they start attacking people? You guys should all answer that question, but you're not. You're not. You're probably chuckling.
There's no more public speakers.
Mayor?
Okay.
I just wanted to say something really quick.
Oh, yes.
I just wanted to thank everybody. This is our first in-person council meeting, and I know there are a lot of folks that have been scrambling. I know a few of us jumped out back, and there was scrambling going on back there.
Yep.
So I just wanted to acknowledge the moment and just say thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Esparza, very appropriately. Thank you to everyone who's continuing to try to see how we can make this work. We're gonna have some mistakes and some misses, but I think we're all heading in the right direction. So thank you very much, Tony, and your entire team. All right, the meeting's adjourned.